What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Creative Hunter podcast. This is episode 48. This is with Ryan Julian. So he's the owner of Stix Outdoors, and they do some awesome products. He's going to get into explaining some of it, but a lot of it is meat care in the backcountry and saving weight, cutting bones out and replacing it with a product that he makes that it helps the meat air out, but also still adds some rigidity to the meat. So anyways, really awesome little podcast here with Ryan. He's got a sweet product. Check him out on Instagram and online, Stix Outdoors. And if you're watching this, I'm gonna be on. If you're watching it soon after it's released, I'm gonna be on a spring bear hunt, the first one of the year out here in Idaho. So I'm leaving 2 days after I record this, and this episode's gonna go live probably a day or two after we head out. So it's gonna be fun. Gonna keep you guys updated on how that goes here in the next couple weeks. But anyways, guys, hope this is a good episode for you. Check it out. We'll see ya.
How you doing? Were you
Sweet,
running
dude.
this morning or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I went on a little trail run, just like 5 miles out on some trails here. And
Right on.
it was good. Felt pretty good. Trying out some new shoes, so it's always kind of like interesting when
Which
you
ones?
get some new shoes. I got the Ultra. They are the Tim 5s.
Oh, nice.
So seeing how they go. But
Soft on the feet.
a little bit. Yeah, they're kind of like a mid cushion, you know. Because I've ran in like mostly low cushion shoes in the past, but I want to try something a little bit more cushion, just because I'm doing a 50-mile race in a few months, so it's like that's a long ways. Lots of beating on the
Dang,
feet.
dude.
So
How you feel about it?
I'm excited. I think I'm gonna be just fine. I mean, it's gonna be tough. Obviously, it's a long race. I've done a 37 miler before. So, just bringing the training up a notch and trying to get the miles in on the mountain and the elevation. And
How does that help you in during elk season? Probably like crazy, right?
yeah, it definitely helps. I've like ran a lot for the last few years. It's just kind of something I just enjoy doing. So I don't know what how I would feel without it. You know, I don't know if I want to know, but
Right.
it
Yeah,
helps.
I
mean,
notice a difference for sure when I'm like
yeah,
focusing more on elk shape, whatever, like not just going to the gym lifting weights, and I'm actually putting a pack on or running or doing a ruck or whatever. It's a big difference than just pushing weight,
oh, it's huge.
Wild.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I feel it mostly in my groin, like the amount of energy I get or the amount of work I get through like my core and groin packing weight and running is way different than you'll get just lifting weights, even heavy weights.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah, yeah, and like the movement in your joints under load, you don't get that either, like lifting
True.
weights. And so, because like when I'm not like rucking and stuff, and I go on a hunt, my joints, like my hips and my knees, all are always like just a little sore every day, and kind of have to like get in the groove of it. And so, try to keep up on some of that stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Sweet. That's exciting. What do you
Yeah.
got planned for this year for your hunts again?
I've got a handful. So spring bear, of course, coming up here in a couple weeks. You doing a spring bear hunt?
Am I going to?
Yeah.
Yeah, locally here, California. I probably won't go out of state for it, but for sure here.
Do they have spring hunts in spring bear hunts in California?
No, not really. So we don't really call it our spring hunt. Everyone gets a
Yeah.
spring bear hunt. We hunt during basically deer season, so later in the fall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, because you're out there already, so it's kind of cool. You can scout and hunt and kind of jump around from different, animals. But it would be cool to not just be turkey hunting right now, because that's all we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that we have a spring bear hunt here, just because you're getting off like the winter. It's like the first hunt of the year, kind of for a lot of people, and it's like it's a fun one because you can make it as much of an adventure as you want. you know?
I bet. And that just gets you in good shape for elk season.
Oh yeah. Good.
Bear, no
Yeah,
joke.
it's good. So I
If
got
you're a good
that.
bear hunter, if you're a good bear hunter, I mean, it just plays dividends for everything. Bear are just so hard to hunt.
It's like very similar to mule deer in a sense, where you're like glassing all day and then like putting stalks in crazy places, and it's like steep, cool country. So yeah, definitely.
That's super cool. Yep, I agree. Are
It's
you
fun.
mainly archery hunting or do you rifle hunt too?
I do both. Honestly, it's like my stage of life right now, it's like whatever is open and whatever is gonna like get me the biggest deer or elk, like I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, but most of my hunts are archery hunts this year. I'm gonna take my bow on this spring bear hunt,
Oh,
just
sweet.
because I think it's possible. I mean, I know it's possible. It's just like I think I can do it.
Yeah.
Because
This last year you got your first deer with a bow, right?
yeah, deer and elk with the bow. So
Nice.
racking them up.
Congrats.
I mean, lucky, but also like put in the work. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
That's
thanks, dude.
awesome, dude.
It's fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your first archery kill, probably, I mean, I don't know if they were your first archery kill, but
Yeah,
to kill a deer and an elk in the same year with a bow gives you some
yeah.
confidence, huh?
Oh, definitely. Probably too much, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
no, it's
That's
good.
awesome. Sweet.
Yeah,
Do you have that? Do you have any of it filmed that I could jump on YouTube and watch it, or did you film your hunts?
yeah. So I filmed most of them. My archery elk hunt this year was like just a break, like take a break from filming, go do a hunt, like
Yeah.
solo, no cameras at all, and just go
Yeah.
hunt. So I didn't film
Yeah.
that one. But my deer hunts filmed. Pretty much every other hunt I do, and every hunt this year that I'm gonna do is filmed. Um, so right now all the
Solo?
hunts are out. Even yeah, most of my hunts I've got a guy or two with me, just buddies or film guys. Um, but a handful of them, especially like later season, October, November stuff, is gonna be pretty like solo stuff,
Yeah.
which which is good. I don't mind filming solo. It's just a different aspect and just a little bit different of a challenge to do it.
You like it more because it's just you. You don't have to worry about someone else. You don't have to worry about scent from someone else or noises or getting them in the right position. It's you and a camera. I'm interested to do it because I haven't self-filmed anything. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if it's better in a way. You probably don't capture as much, maybe.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is like capturing enough B-roll and content. And a lot of it's like capturing like the hiking stuff. Like it's easy to get a shot of a scenery or maybe set up a tripod and get glassing shots. And it's easy to talk to the camera on your own, but some of the just like the B-roll is hard. It's harder to get. Um, I would say like if I'm filming a hunt, I'd rather have a guy there filming for me, just personally. Um, and if you're self-filming a hunt and you are trying to film the shot too, like you got to set up a camera on yourself, you got to set up a camera on the animal, and if the animal's like moving, you got to make sure everything's in frame, and then be able to take the shot. It's tough, um, but it's possible. And that's I haven't and probably won't really ever self-film a lot of archery hunts because of that. Like you can't. It's like you could set up a camera behind you, but you never know. Like you're not going to stalk exactly where that camera's pointing sometimes, right? So it's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
a lot of guys are great at it. I mean, I watch
Yeah,
some films that are self-filmed, and I'm like, dude, that's better than any cinematic, badass hunt film I've ever watched with a camera crew because they know how to, set the story and set this whole entire stage and be okay with talking into a camera all day. And it's
yep,
cool. And I would like
yeah.
to be able to do that, but
I think you could, dude.
yeah,
I think you could. Like it's just a matter like the first like when I first started doing this, like the first couple films that I tried to do, like there wasn't enough story to even make something, but I learned like okay, I need to be capturing this too and this and this is how
everything,
I
right?
make the story, right? So it's like you might not, you might make a couple films at first that are like, all right, these just like aren't even gonna work. But now you know what to do next time. Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So
I like having a camera guy there. I mean, it does set a different little challenge in there to make sure
yeah,
everything's set up with him, but it's also just not capturing the hunt, it's capturing it with someone else. And if you're not with your buddy, you have your camera guy who turns into your buddy. Like this last year, I flew that guy out from Michigan and we're tight now. Like texts all the time. He's coming out here. I'm going to go visit him in Michigan and turkey hunt. Um, but it's just, another like-minded guy out there on the mountain that is capturing your whole hunt and is just making it and creating it while you're still hunting. And they can see it
yeah,
kind of from a different, view, like the viewer's lens where, everything is, oh, this is where I should be. This is how I should, play into this scenario. And it is definitely a different perspective for sure. And it's nice for the viewer to see that.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Hopefully we can get linked up this year or next year and get some hunts in together, even if it's just storming the mountain and, you know, charging through Idaho.
For sure, dude. Yeah, it's fun. I love kind of linking up with people. It's so hard because there's not enough time in the season to go like on hunts with everyone you want to go on hunts with, you know.
Right.
But yeah, dude, if we can make it work out, like let's do it. What
Absolutely.
hunts do you have planned out this year?
So I've got 2 California deer hunts.
Nice.
One I'm going to burn my points, and then one's just a local hunt here. A couple pig hunts spread throughout the year. I'll always spread a pig hunt or 2 out. I might burn my antelope points up here in California. I have quite a bit, and I know I could get the tag. And then I've got my Idaho elk hunt, I think August 29th or 28th. I drive out, and I I go super early season for a reason. You don't get that whole entire rut, but you get no pressure.
Right.
And well, at least a little pressure. And especially in this area, the bulls just seem to hang out a lot more. Besides the bigger bulls, they'll branch off like early September, but it's fun. It's patterning them. It's kind of hunting them like deer and mule deer type in the September 1st ish day or two, and then as soon as it gets to like the 5th, 6th, 7th, you're kind of soloing out bulls, you're locating bulls with bugles, or I've hiked around in at night at 11 or 12 and just went to mountaintops and just listened, and
Yeah.
was able to kind of locate some bulls that I had not known were there just off of that, and being like, oh, I saw these bulls, I put these bulls out in this, you know, mountainside, I know where they're at, it's dark, and then I hear one sound off over to my right or behind me, and it kind of helps you locate them in a different sense, just being quiet and sitting up there. Pretty cool.
That's cool. Is that do you backpack in or do you kind of like truck camp it, hike in, or how
No,
do you do it?
I always backpack in. I've just started
Yeah.
using horses in the past couple of years. I got my own
Oh,
2
nice.
horses. But this last hunt that I filmed, I rented some horses, some for the camera guy, and then a buddy of mine was hunting Montana the week after I was hunting Idaho. And so I got him a horse so he could charge up there real quick with me. And then had one pack horse and then my horse that I kind of used as a situational hunt for him because I know the hunt so well. I didn't have to completely focus on him during the hunt, and I knew I could kind of test him out and see how he did. And so I had him in camp the whole hunt, and it paid off so much. I mean, during the day I had to take him out of camp and exercise him, and he was highline the whole time. So I felt like going back to camp during the day, stretching his legs out, letting him see things, getting him kind of desensitized to, you know, wolves, bears, whatever was around at the time was good for him. But I didn't really use him for this hunt. I just brought him with. But
Yeah.
I usually pack in if it's under, you know, 10 miles, if it's 8 miles or 7 miles, I don't mind packing in.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Less
agree with
less
you.
to worry about too. Have you hunted with animals ever?
So, I mean, yeah, I've been on plenty of hunts with animals. My experience is like I'd rather just not deal with them personally,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a lot.
There, yeah, I mean, there's places well, I've been up to like I was up in Canada for a couple months filming some hunts for an outfitter, and like they're like 80 miles back there, and they've got all their horses and stuff, and then the clients will fly in on a float plane, but then you have to have horses because they're traveling like miles every day in like tundra stuff, and like it's pretty wild. And then you kill a moose, and you're 80 miles deep. Like you gotta get it back to the lake so that plane can pick it up, which was really fun. But like I'm just not like super comfortable around horses and like some livestock in general. It's because I never grew up around it.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll ever get into. I might do like llamas or goats someday. I kind of want to, but
Yeah.
yeah, right
I
now,
used
dude,
to
I'm just
hunt
tough in it.
when I was younger. We did backcountry hunts, my dad and my brother, with llamas, and they were easy, like
Yeah.
super easy. But then I got to the point where I'm like, I want to ride it. I want to ride my animals in. So we started using horses, but it could ruin your hunt for sure. You have one bad spill, you have one horse that, takes off. It could absolutely, or get injured. It could ruin your hunt, or it could injure you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is definitely a different dynamic bringing an animal on a mountain for sure.
Yeah. We had my wife drew a really good elk tag this year, just kind of close to where I grew up, and we have my dad has had some buddies that drew the same tag, and his son, well, the guy, my dad's buddy, his son drew the tag. So we're out there, and they always bring horses, so they were riding horses, and we were hunting, me and my wife, and one of the horses freaked out, and his son got bucked off and caught in the stirrup and drug, got kicked a couple times, and we were only like a mile away, so we like heard it happen, and he called me and he's like, hey, like I got to call life flight because I think he has a broken leg and possibly a broken neck, and we like went over, helped him out. Turns out he did have a broken neck, so it was a good thing we didn't like try and move him much. And the life flight came in, picked him up. It was a crazy experience. We were only like 2 miles from the truck, but like stuff happens like that, and yeah, you gotta be careful. So,
Changes the whole hunt.
oh yeah, dude. The crazy thing is he they knew some landowners in the unit, so they went back and he shot an elk on like a big 6 point bull after he got like surgery on his neck. He had his neck brace on,
Good
and
for
he
him.
shot this big old elk. So it was kind of cool. But
Redemption Bowl.
exactly, right. It was
Good for
cool.
him. Yeah.
So,
This guy
anyways,
I know, he keeps his foot out of the stirrup. Like he just puts his front toe on his left side, or whatever the hillside, the high side is. He'll keep his foot out of the stirrup so he could just jump right off.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, it is definitely a learning curve and a different dynamic, but I enjoy it. And it's, that Western hunt style, packing with horses and that whole entire vibe I was chasing for a while. And then I realized, like, some situations it doesn't pay off to have animals up there. It's better to
yeah,
be on foot and then be
yeah.
mobile. Like, you can't be really mobile with horses and archery hunting, especially if you're by
It's true.
yourself. It's way too much work to be able to find a camp, set the horses up, go hunt, and then move every night. It's too much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, let's talk about your stuff. So, Game Sticks. Tell me about it and kind of where it came from and all that.
Yeah, so I mean, kind of going along with what we were talking about, packing in just on foot, um, years of just hunting so far back and drainages, and I've hunted Idaho for a while now, probably 8, 9 years. It just kind of created this, aha moment when I'm packing elk quarters out, and I'm thinking, it's situational, right? Hunting is so situational. Sometimes you're like, you have it in you to pack off an animal. You may have guys with you. Um, but sometimes you want to debone it. And I was finding that it's kind of a fine line, especially when it comes into September and you have those warmer temperatures and you are getting further back, and it's kind of created that, or social media and YouTube. I was actually on another podcast explaining how it's created this environment that so many people are doing it now, that it's almost taking the elk herds and pushing them further back into these remote locations that you really want to hunt, but it's a trek to get in there and it's a trek to get out. So I was, years of packing in and packing out, I was kind of just starting to, break down why I got into the whole meat science of everything. Why are people deboning? Why, I understand bone sour, I understand the weight, I understand everything, but why isn't everyone deboning? It kind of was confusing to me, and I kind of started, putting two and two together. I was realizing there's so many advantages to the bone, the longevity of your elk quarter, the structure, the rigidity that you have strapping it to your pack or even on a panniard of a horse. There is so many advantages. And some guys like to age meat, but I don't really age meat. So that one wasn't really a big factor for me. But I realized why people were keeping it on the bone. And you lose a little bit of meat taking it, especially if you take it off in pieces, you lose some meat to that, outside wind getting to it and that little crust creating some kind of film on there, and you got to clean that off. But I didn't realize like how helpful it was until I started deboning. And I watched so many YouTubes when I was younger on deboning, where keeping your whole entire quarter intact was the method to do. But you gotta learn how to do it. You don't just want to cut in there and chop that bone out. There's an art to it in a way. But once you do it once or twice, it's just like anything else. It's easy.
Yeah.
So I kind of put two and two together, and I was like, well, why can't we have the structure and rigidity, the elongated quarter, the airflow, and have no weight? And I started making little prototypes here and there, and I'd go test them on an elk hunt, and they worked, but they were more of a pain in the ass than actually helpful, until I think it was 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. I made my final set, and I kind of had an idea of how I wanted to implement it into the elk quarter. And I brought it on the mountain, got a cow elk, and used it, and it was lights out, like super easy. It was just as rigid as a normal elk quarter. It gave me the ability to take my game bag off and clean up the meat, trim off anything I wanted to while that deboned meat was hanging. So instead of, tying it off to the bone and muscling it up, I created this hook apparatus and this paracord to just walk up and get a low limb and just hang it quick once you debone it and put this game stick in. And then it kind of just evolved from there. It was, okay, now that I have the structure and rigidity locked down, how can I improve cooling the meat? How can I get that internal temperature or that dense part of those quarters cooler quicker, not just by taking the bone out, but allowing that airflow throughout the center of that meat and allowing the airflow on the outside to kind of work in. And I went over another prototype of the post apparatus and locked that down super quick. I used aluminum because I found that even if it's sunny outside and you're in somewhat of some shade and you have that wind, that mountainside crosswind, that aluminum is, it could be up to 10 degrees cooler than the ambient temperature outside. So it was kind of all, going forward on its own, and it played a massive part into packing these quarters off because it was relatively way lighter. Your rear quarters, I weighed one bone. It was last year's bone, and it's wet still. It's not dried out. It's as heavy as it would be, and it was like 12.8 to 13 something pounds. I could have cleaned it off and probably got it down to maybe 11.5 pounds with more meat or fat off of it. But that's substantial if there's guys like you and I packing in on foot, even if we're with another guy and he has an elk tag, you don't want to get cashed out. It was that helpful this last year for packing this bull off. I knew right then and there, I was like, okay, it's definitely something that's going to help a lot of guys. Even if, you typically don't debone, there's going to be situations where you're going to want to. So it kind of just evolved into this whole entire pack out system. And then from there, this pack out system for meat kind of translated to this whole teepee style tent post that I created. And it evolved into, well, now it's multifunctional. Now I can justify bringing this situational tool up there because I'm not only using it for a pack out, I can use it for my tent. And so it kind of combined into one. And I've noticed that guys are just loving the whole concept of it. And I'm plugging certain things into this kit. You know, I have 3 kits on my website. I have the Game Stix kit, which is the tent post and the bone replacement kit. And then I have 3 kits. I have the Game Stix one, that's all 3. And then I have the bone replacement and the tent post. You can buy separately. So if you're not going to ever debone and you're like, you know what, I hunt close enough to a UTV. I'm an absolute savage and I'll never have to take any weight off my meat. You can just get the tent post and it's lights out. Like, it's illuminated. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's illuminated. It has gear hooks all up and down it. So it comes with 4 sets of hooks, and you can take your whole entire floor print in your tent and organize your tent, have a central location for all your gear. If you're going to hang stuff, if you're going to put your boots up, your flashlight, your pistol, whatever you want. And then still, if you kill something, demobilize, take it to your elk, pack out, reuse it. Then you can maybe use your walking stick as your tent post or whatever you have to do for the time being in that situation. But it's funny, a lot of guys have asked, oh, so I have to take my tent down if I kill an elk? And I'm like, I think that's the last concern you'll have, is taking your tent down. You'll be so pumped off of just packing meat off. You've succeeded. You know what I mean? It's a good trade-off. So it's kind of evolved into something that's really awesome and people love it. It's ultra light. I mean, we'll always stay under a pound, even if we're at the full kit. We'll always be around 10, 11 ounces. So it's kind of a no-brainer for guys that pack in and want to get meat off the mountain and they hunt September. And, you know, and then we came out with the stabilizer attachment. And that in itself is just another way that you don't have to carry something up the mountain. You know, your hooks now are on your bow. I have it right here, but this whole setup right here is just super handy, and it's all quick attached stuff. So you can take these pins out and these pins out, and these 2 hooks for your rear quarters is really what I use it for. Go right into your posts, and now you're not carrying your hooks. You only have basically your tent post set up, or if it's just a bone replacement, it's just your 2 posts, but this is all you're carrying. So it's pretty cool, man. It's done real well. So I can't wait for this season for all the people who have ordered it and are snagging it to actually use it and send me feedback and let me know, hey, you know, this is great. Change this, work on this. But I have a feeling it's going to help a lot of guys.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. 'Cause there's nothing like that in anything in the industry, and so I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. It's a little worrisome, you know, pioneering a whole entire new tradition of packing meat off the mountain. You're kind of like, you know, is this too easy and stupid that, you know, it's not going to work? But when I put it to use and I have that meat elongated, I have, you know, for debone meat, if you're going to debone meat, or if you're ever going to have to, it's a no-brainer. You know, you can have all that meat hanging. Your game bag should be loose on your meat. It shouldn't be tight, just like a shirt we're wearing, right? To keep cool, you want that looser fitting shirt so it breaks that heat coming in. And it's lights out, man. It's really cool. I'm excited for where it's going to go and how it's going to evolve. It's already taken its own form and kind of created its own path in this industry. And like you said, there's nothing like it out there.
Yeah. I feel like outfitters could really benefit from something like that, because they're dealing with stuff like that like every week, right? And you're also dealing with other people's meat. It's not just your own meat. So
Absolutely. It was funny at the Western Hunt Expo, we were walking around, outfitters were coming up left and right. Just, hey, can we get a set, you know, sent to us? Can we get 4 of them? We're going to order 5. We're going to order 6 sets. We're packing off hundreds of quarters a year. We'd love this. I kind of don't like the whole outfitter aspect, just because I'm doing it for the backcountry bow hunter, you know.
right.
I'm doing it for guys like you. And, you know, whatever, if it takes that shape and goes that way, I'd love it.
Yeah. No, that's cool. So all of it together, it's less than a pound, you said, huh? For like all the pulls and the hooks and everything.
Yeah, well under a pound. We're at like the full Game Six setup, I think's at 12 ounces right now.
Yeah.
So, and
Oh,
it's
that's cool.
strong. 70-75 aluminum. It's not going to ever corrode or rust or anything. It's the set screws in the hooks that attach your game post right here. So this hook right here attaches to your game post, stainless steel. So this paracord right here, you can double it as D-loop if you have to in a pinch. It's all made just to last forever. So it's pretty cool, man. I'm excited. This light in here, Logan, so this light's waterproof. It's a IP rating that's waterproof. And so this can be out in the rain and never be affected.
Fine.
Yeah, it's 360-degree illumination. It's simple and it's effective. You know, this whole tent post system, I'm really excited for guys that run teepee tents to get their hands on it, because it, you know, you always look at tents and guys hanging stuff off from the top. I seen a Brian Call, I think they had their tent posts going crossed in the top of their tent, so they're hanging stuff off, and it all works. But this is just, you know, it's super simple and easy. We were going to run with some glow in the dark like couplings or hooks, but the glow in the dark plastic that comes out, it just doesn't hold that much of a charge to make it really worth it yet. So we're still trying to figure out that aspect of it, but besides that, it's super simple.
Yeah. I like that idea of having those hooks, because especially on a late season or maybe like a early spring season hunt, if you're trying to dry gear out and you got a teepee tent with a stove, like you want to hang stuff. And a lot of times
Yep.
in teepees, there's not a lot of options for that, right? So
Yeah, and
that's
having a
cool.
central location is kind of cool, you know, all your main gear that you want hung up in the middle of your tent. Or like my tent, I run the single man Kuyu tent, and it's on the outside of my shell. Well, it's on the inside of the vestibule, outside of the nest, I guess you want to call
Right.
it. And it's cool because when I get into my tent, you know, I can hook all my stuff off, my Bino harness if I want to put it there, my whatever that I have on me that I'm getting out of, you know, my hunting gear, and I don't want to bring it in my tent. I just hook it right on my post, and I know it's right there when I wake up. It's not wet from the ground. And if you are running a style tent that has that stove in it, like you said, it just dries it quick.
Yeah. Super quick. Well, that's cool.
So your elk this year, did you have to pack them far off the mountain, or was it close enough to where it wasn't too big of a problem?
It wasn't too bad. It was only about 2 miles down to the trailhead. So it wasn't terrible, you know. And I did it all myself, except for like one quarter at the end. My wife and father-in-law came in and like helped me pack out the last 2 quarters. But yeah, so it wasn't really that far. But dude, I've had situations where it is a long ways to pack some stuff out. So and yeah. So yeah, one of the things though with like that elk hunt is like I was in Grizz country, so
Mm.
it was like get all the meat off, hang it as high as I could, and start shuttling stuff. Um, and it was also like raining all day. It was like a great elk hunting day because it was cold and rainy. It was like that second week of September, you know, like so they were just
Mm-hmm.
like hitting the rut hard, like just right there. And yeah, so I would definitely I didn't really debone it though because it obviously wasn't that far to go. And my goal was just like get it out as fast as I could, kind of at that point. But,
Right. I mean, that's why for that reason alone, that's why I multifunctioned it and
yeah,
brought those different, you know, aspects into it. I know one guy this year, he's pumped to use it for if he doesn't debone, right? In that situation where he's like, it's cool enough, I have enough energy, I'm not hunting for another 6 days with anyone else. I can pack this meat off, section it off, or I have someone coming in to help me pack it off. He said he's going to use it as a rack stabilizer for packing his rack off. if he doesn't have to debone. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So we were chatting about it, and I was like, all right, explain to me how you would do it. And so he grabs the game sticks, he shows me how you do it, and it just all clicked. And so now I think it's on our Instagram, we have this rack lock technology that it actually locks your rack in super tight and super easy. It's very rigid. It's obviously lightweight, and you can just use all these perforated holes on here to strap your rack in, and you can move this post because it's telescoping. You can move it wherever you need. So if you need to move it closer to the base of your rack, or if it's some wide bowl and it's some trophy, you can pull it all the way out and strap it to more of the outside rack and strap it to your pack wherever you need, or your horse, and you're not looking for a log on the ground or a branch that hopefully some other hunter didn't use for his rack on his pack out. So it's the multifunction is just, it's completely evolving into its own thing, which is really cool.
That is cool, man. That's huge for backcountry hunting, is like having multiple options in one piece of gear. So that's awesome.
Yeah. We created the base of the hook to go upside down in your post. And because it's multi-adjustable or micro-adjustable, sorry, you can take one of your pins from one of your hooks, put it in your post, and then this screw doubles as I guess a monopod, you could call it. And so if you're not bringing a tripod, which some guys don't, they don't, it's just extra weight. And if they don't want to, they don't want to. But this 1/4-20 screw is an attachment that you can attach your camera to, your spotting scope, your binoculars, and you can use it as just a stabilizer, just for, some quick glassing if you're out on a mountain or whatever. Which I'm excited to use that this year. I'm going to leave my tripod behind and try this out and see, if it's really effective. I know it will be stable. Our Golly has the really cool adapter for the trekking pole.
Right.
And that works really well. I've used that before. So I'm excited to see how this works and see if it does enough to stabilize my binoculars to make it actually worth promoting. But right now it's there's a lot of guys that want to use it for that. So it's exciting. It's starting a product, especially in a field that I've been in for so long, and kind of solving a problem that I've seen for a while. It's fun. It's interesting to see the comments coming in and the messages I'm getting on my Instagram or the website, and the feedback and everything so far from all these guys is just, dude, this is so awesome. Like, I can't wait to use this. I'm going to snag this. Should I get that? Should I, and I'm very transparent. Like, are you hunting far from the truck? Are you going to debone? Are you using a teepee tent? Like, don't get what you don't need. Don't get that whole Game Sticks kit. Get what you need. Are you an archery hunter? Well, I mean, if you're going to go do a tack shoot, yeah, you might not want to run with this stabilizer for your tack shoot. It's not as, adjustable for your weight in the front, but it is definitely perfect for a hunting scenario. Like, if you're going to bring this bone replacement kit up on the mountain, run this stabilizer kit. It's quick attach. You can spin that thing off after you shoot your bull. You don't need your stabilizer. So you can I'll show you how it kind of works. If you shoot your animal, I say bull, cow, whatever, all you got to do is just slide this off, put that in your pack, and you got your hooks. So it's that easy, simple. And what I like about it is we've worked so much with this setup to make sure there's zero vibration, super strong. And it gives you the ability to, once you're running it as a stabilizer, you can use these hooks to hook it on your webbing on your backpack or your pocket and be hands-free in glass. It kind of works as a multi-tool in itself as a stabilizer. So it's not just limited to being a stabilizer.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. That's like a unique thing that, like, if you're gonna have it, you might as well like carry it in a way that's productive for something else. So yeah, that's cool, dude.
Yeah,
that's sweet.
I'm gonna get you a set, and you're gonna hopefully put it to use this year on a bull.
Hopefully something, right? Nice,
Absolutely.
dude.
Yeah.
I might be running a teepee tent for the first time this year too, so it'll be kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah,
Do you know
I've
which
always
one
wanted
you're
to.
looking at?
Not totally sure yet. I'm actually talking with a couple people about it, so we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get out of the Kuiu single man tent. It's actually not as easy to set up as you would think, and that's what I was hoping for it. I like the tent. It's very, I mean, it works great, but I want that quick setup. And so
Yeah.
I'm kind of milling around the Argali one or the Peaks because they look like they're super simple. And that's what I want this year. I want to be able to just be on the go and hunt with the elk and kind of move. And I don't want to have to spend, I mean, even though you're talking, what does it take? 20, about 15 minutes to set up. I want
Yeah.
quick. So that's what I'm gunning for. I'm going to try a new style this year, but I'm definitely excited to run this center post right here that we have.
Nice. So, and you could run that center post on pretty much any trekking pole type tent, even if it needs like two poles. You could have one of the poles with that setup,
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
super easy. So,
Yeah, you could run it with any style. We're working on I mean, right now you can order enough posts to elongate it to that big TP style tent,
yeah.
but this is like right in the 60-inch range, I think we're at. So it's perfect for the 2-3 man guy that's going back there. But we're working on the bigger setup, but you can build it with this, but we don't have that package yet.
Yeah. No, I gotcha. And then when you're packing out a quarter, you're putting that aluminum pole basically where the bones would have gone, just to
Right.
help with that rigidity, right? Okay, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
so
So
it's filleting it out. I think Randy Newberg, Eric Chester, they all have these YouTube videos, and we're gonna post one here pretty soon on our channel. But they have these bone out tutorials, I guess you could call it, on
right,
getting that bone out, and it's actually really easy. And the more meat you can just take off the bone, it's just cleaning the bone right off.
yeah,
And it's all that shank meat is where these two hooks come into place. So once you get that bone out, that shank meat up top, which you're going to probably burger out anyways, or sausage or whatever.
mm-hmm.
These two hooks right here can hold that whole quarter up all on its own. And then we run this thread and needle system, comes in a pack of two. We run this setup so you can basically tack that quarter wherever you feel fit, wherever that post is sitting in that quarter, because some guys are going to cut differently. So you can use this thread and needle system to tack it in and make it as rigid to that meat inside that bone replacement spot as you want. And we just tie a simple releasable knot on the back so it stops on that hole right here. So once you run this, and I only tacked mine in 2 times this last year, but once you run this through, it stops on that meat. And you run that through the meat, it just suctions it right to it. And then you can come up another 2 or 3 spots, tack it in, run it through the hole. And then I just buried this into the shank meat. So there's no sharp pointy end. I mean, it's not that sharp, but just to make sure you don't poke through your game bag or whatever. And there's a video out at actually, I think there's a short on our YouTube as well for this whole setup and how it works. And it breaks it all down. It's easy. It may take a little bit more time to get that bone out, but as you know, every step matters when you're packing 60, 70, 80 pounds
Yeah,
4
it's
times.
worth it. It's worth it. Especially even if you're, I mean, I do a lot of mule deer hunting, and that's where I run into deboning the most is on mule deer, and a lot of times it's like you're miles deep, and then you also have to go pick up your camp, and then you have to hike out, and it might be like a day and a half endeavor just to get out of there. And so even if saving a little bit of weight and taking that extra time, it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and for the mule deer, my brother's a massive mule deer hunter. That's all I mean, just infatuated with mule deer. And what he's going to do this year is he's going to use one post for 2 quarters. And so
Yeah.
it's designed around elk, but you can use one post setup and put 2 rear quarters or a front shoulder and a rear quarter on one post, run a 2-post setup and pack 4 quarters off, no problem. 2 trips. And then your loose meat, you can just throw in the bottom of your game bag. You're not even worried about that airflow to that meat, because that mass of that meatball for, say, your back straps, your neck roast, that's all small now. It's not a big ball of heat. It's just a smaller section, and your main masses of meat are elongated on your post. And what's really cool too is this post, it's measured perfectly to sit in the bottom of your pack if you're running some kind of loader, to where this is posted on the bottom and it's keeping all the meat up here now. It's not hanging from the top in a tree. Now it's supported from the bottom of your post up through your pack, and it gives you that strapping ability to strap your meat out as it goes up on your pack.
Nice, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's pretty cool. It's been fun. It's been fun creating it and seeing it go out and seeing the feedback. I'm so excited, man. I'm so pumped for guys to use this setup.
Yeah, well, that'll be cool. So they can find it at GameStixOutdoors.com, right?
Yep.
With the X on Stix.
With an X, yep. That's a YouTube channel as well.
Okay, it's cool. And you guys released how many films have you guys done? Is it just the one elk film?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay.
That was the first one we've ever done. And it was great. If you want to get through all the news and all the talk of the hunt and just get to the game stick stuff, it's at the end. It's like the last 3 minutes, I think, of the film. So if you want to check that portion out, you can just fast forward. But it's a cool film. It's not like, it's my first time ever filming a hunt. And I don't like it. I don't like being filmed. It brought a whole new, a whole new realm of hunting for me into an already hard scenario. So
yeah,
I commend all you guys who have that camera and have to capture and hunt and navigate and survive. It's a lot. It's an art that you guys have that ability to do it.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I just enjoy it, and I know most people, they enjoy just capturing it and sharing it, and it's definitely something that you just get better at with time. But no, it's cool. I love seeing people film hunts and release them, and just watching the stories and stuff. It's awesome because it's a medium of storytelling that's unlike any other, right? But same with writing. I read hunting stories often, and it's a totally different way of telling a story than making a film, and they're both cool, in their own ways. But anyways, yeah, I think that's cool.
Makes you better at filming your hunt too. When you read these stories and you write these stories, it helps you film your hunts in that perspective, that writer's mentality into a film. Then your film is just that much better.
Yeah, no, I think it's true. Definitely. Awesome. That's cool, dude. Well, we'll kind of wrap it up. I usually keep them around this 45-minute mark.
Cool.
We can stay on and chat after this, but yeah. So tell people where they can find you. Obviously, we got your website and the YouTube.
Yeah. So Instagram's is the same as the website. It's Gamestix Outdoors with an X. YouTube channel we talked about. Website. Yeah, go check it out, browse it, let me know what you think, give me feedback. If you don't like it, don't buy it, but tell me what you think. Any criticism's good criticism, so I love all of it.
Perfect. Cool, dude. Okay, well, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks.
We'll see everyone. Yep. See everyone next week.